So, hello, this is Tina Persson, a global career coach, headhunter and recruiter. In the previous chapters, we have discussed the career development process. We have looked into transferable skill training and self-assessment in order to evaluate your personality. When you have done that, then you're ready for this chapter, chapter 4, CV design for industry. And that is, how to be identified by recruiters and hiring managers. So how can you design an outstanding CV so you actually will be found? So going back here, a little bit back to basic, just to repeat a little bit from chapters 1, 2, and 3. You have maybe doing your PhD or you're still working on your PhD. Then, you do an inventory and reflection. Inventory is part of personal inventory where you investigate your hard skills, that is involving techniques and methods that you are using during your PhD. Reflection is to start to identify what you like to do and what you don't like to do. As a PhD student, we do many things, and that is part of your transferable skills. A very common mistake that many PhDs do, that I have learned as a coach, is that you come to me as a career coach and say, no one invites me for an interview. I have sent my CV to recruiters and companies and I'm not even invited for interviews. Then I have a short look on the CV, and what I then realize is that you have been using your academic CV. And basically, it could be so simple that people don't understand what kind of job you're looking for, and they don't know what you really like to do, or maybe even they don't understand your CV. So a very common mistake is that you start to write your CV too quick without making a proper personal inventory of your skill set. And you have not included what you like to do. I mean, the self-awareness drives motivation. So starting off, the first step, reflect over the hard skills. Reflect over the transferable skills. And if you don't know what hard skills is and transferable skills is, listen to chapter 1 and chapter 2 in this series here. This step, in order to design your CV, I would say take a deep breath. If you're working on your PhD, this is a fantastic job you can do while you're doing your PhD because it will save you time. I will usually say spend 4 weeks if you have finished your PhD to do the evaluation. So if you have done this job before you have finished your PhD, it will be much faster for you. It will go much faster for you to get, now I do this stupid thing again, blah, 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 blah. So have a look here. So this is a process. On this slide you have a process and a time frame that you should invest before you start to design your CV. So evaluate. You have now, as a PhD student, maybe an academic CV. So the first thing you do in week 1 is to do the personal inventory, and that is your hard skills. All the methods and techniques you have, and as a PhD student you should have over 50 of them. That could be all kinds of kits, programming, etc. And then start to check the job boards. A job board could be where companies are advertising, and from that you learn what kind of job titles they are looking for and what skills they are interested in. And by knowing what skills companies are looking for, it's easier for you to start to design and tailor your CV. In the next week, you start to design your LinkedIn profile and you start to look for key people in the companies that you are interested in. A key person could be extremely important because that will give you an opportunity to call them or contact them and ask questions so you actually can learn. The third week, I usually recommend that you make an evaluation. An evaluation where you compare, what have I learned as a PhD? What skills do I actually have? Methods and techniques that companies are interested in? And what about my transferable skills? You know, my drive and motivation. Does that fit to the market? And by doing a proper evaluation, you can realize during your PhD that you have a skill gap. And if you know you have a skill gap, for example, you want to go to data scientist, and you realize you need to learn a programming language, then you can take a course, or you can buy a course online. That's very good to do. And then, you know, at week 4 or shortly thereafter, you design your CV accordingly to what the job market would like to have. So if you perform and evaluate and learn before you finish your PhD, you are more likely to get a job before you have finished your thesis work. And avoid procrastinating this, because it takes a little bit longer than you think to make a proper CV that industry will understand. Just an example. You should have around 5 to 6 CVs or resume. A resume is a 1 page and a CV could be 1 to 2. And they should be tailored to each job you are looking for. So you get the exact skills, and so you direct the CV to the hiring manager and the recruiter so they understand why you're interested in this job. Example here, application specialist. It's a job that is extremely overseen by many PhDs. So let's say you send your academic CV with your academic skills. If you then think from the recruiter perspective, how can the recruiter understand you would like to leave academia and move into business unless you tell the recruiter by writing it in the CV? So some tip, if you want to become an application specialist, investigate what hard skills and transferable skills you should add in the CV and how you can motivate by writing down your drives and motivation. Example of skill sets and transferable skills for an application specialist is supervising, teaching, communication, problem solving, understanding of the products. Drive and motivation that you actually tell them, I'm going to leave academia, I like to move to business. And there you have started to design a CV that will appeal and explain for recruiters why you want that job and why you fit that exact job. And this is just an example how you can brand yourself. 2 clients of mine that have wonderful CVs. So have a look here. You can see how different they are. It's okay to have a black and white CV, but it's also okay to have colors. But my tip is that if you are living in different countries, there are different customs. This is the way you can write it in Sweden. We accept to have photos. In some countries, they prefer not to have photos. Figure that out too. Ask local career coaches or coaches that are used to coach people on a global level. And finally, if you're going to design your CV, what is your favorite color? What color would you put on a CV? It's time for you to start to design your CV. And if you don't know your soft skills, if you don't know your transferable skills, just please to get back and listen to chapter 1, 2, and 3 in the previous series here. Thank you very much for listening.